Hello, visionary, and welcome to our channel and to this amazing experience that we're going to have today with Kaehko. I cannot express to you how much I love this woman, and I'm very, very excited. I've been trying to get her on video for a long time because she is such a beautiful individual. She has such a unique chart, and she has so much incredible wisdom. And so today she's going to be sharing a little bit about her journey through this human design courses. She's done the certification up to level 4. She's done the 4 radical transformations, and now she's currently in the rave cosmology. So she is what I consider like master teacher level. And she is more than that because she's such an amazing person. So Kaehko, whatever you would like to share. I know we were kind of talking about sharing about the deconditioning and deconditioning process, but I really want you just to share from your heart anything you'd like to say.
Well, first off, thanks for inviting me because I'm a projector. I like invitations, definitely. And it has been a time for me to say yes to the invitation. It felt I have to wait for that right moment and that right timing because I'm a projector with a divine solar plexus, so things have to feel right for me. But human design has been really life-changing for me, and being friends with Raquel and having teaching, learning, and being taught through her classes has really helped me. I was somewhat in deconditioning at the time when I met Raquel, but everything wasn't coming together. I've known human design since 2011. I got my first reading in 2011. So it's been a real challenge to understand it because I was trying to study with like a little class here and a little class there. You know, I was doing it on my own. I wasn't having any official classes really, and it just wasn't coming together. But when I met Raquel, everything just started happening. And there was one class, one meeting we had kind of like this. It was a one-on-one consultation, and I had this aha moment around my open ego, open heart center, and it just exploded. And all she said is that your worth is not going to be consistent. And I just poured, like crying, because it was like years of shit coming out of me, excuse my language, but crap just coming out. Because for so long, like all my life, I've tried to have that consistency of feeling like I have value and worth. So the value and worth, I sought to have that consistent in my life through exterior methods. Interior too, but I kept thinking if I had the right this and the right job and the right man and the right everything on the outside, then I would be successful and I would feel good and I was going to always feel worthy now because I've got all this money. And that just wasn't happening. And so when she said it's not consistent and it has nothing to do with any of that, the relief, it was explosive. And it changed my life. Like she hit some kind of core in there of me that just nobody else has ever hit. And that's when I was just like, I want to know everything.
It's so beautiful. I love those moments in human design. And when you share that, it really it opens my heart, and I hope it does to everybody listening too, because we all are conditioned so powerfully and deeply that we can hear the information, we can hear about human design, we can learn it, we can read the books, but sometimes it does take like that moment of being vulnerable enough, because she was vulnerable enough and ready enough to live the experiment. And my job is to be the initiator, not initiator, but the initiator of the initiation, right? The 2551 pushes people out of the plane, but they have to invite me for their own spiritual awakening, right? So like you have to be like vulnerable and ready enough for your own experiment. and like ready to go through the deconditioning process. Because most people are just like, give me the information, I'm going to memorize it. I memorize the gates, I memorize this. It's like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's about living it. And that's what you said, it's like, and that's where I was finally at. It's like, okay, I've known this stuff and it's all head knowledge, but how do you live it? And so the deconditioning had already started somewhat, but I didn't understand all the centers, the circuitry. I definitely didn't know circuitry. And that was really cool, but it started with the worth. It really started with the heart. And it's because I want to bring up the topic of like addiction,
Yeah.
bad relationships, in and out of relationships, intimacy, um, trauma, abuse, bipolar, mental illness, all these things that you think you are not who you probably really are. I mean, I went through having medication because thinking that there was something wrong with me. And so that's why I'm talking about the worth so much, because so many people think that life isn't worthy and they're not worthy and they don't have the other things that other people have. And we compare ourselves and we make promises and we try so hard to commit and, like to, losing weight and different things. And if you have an open heart, that's what's so beautiful about the design. You're fighting against yourself until you know who you really are. You're going to fight against yourself and you're never really going to get where you want to go because you don't understand your design. And so it was so powerful. I've overcome so many things. And okay, so I had already quit drinking before I met you. So like I was a pretty big drinker and I had done a lot of processing with that, but I think I still held on to a lot of things. So this human design has really helped me to go deeper into my healing of my childhood and my career and agreements and promises that I've made and commitments. So I've turned it all around. I'm overcoming. I'm committing to myself. I'm understanding myself. I've been able to look at the shadows of the centers, because every center has a shadow and every center has a blessing, a wisdom and a blessing. So part of the deconditioning process is getting deep with those shadows, like what you don't want to look at. And we think we have this big monster inside of us, but we really don't. And it's so beautiful. Like human design is so powerful to change your life.
It really truly is. So she's talking about, the undefined sacral for one and undefined will. So when you are a projector, for those of you who are projectors, one of the main themes, and you may have heard this before, but one of the main themes is you don't know when enough is enough. And that runs through so much for projectors. First of all, and she's also 100% individual. So you have someone doesn't know when enough is enough. She is not going to fit into groups in the same way that other people are. She's here to lead the groups, but she's not here to fit in. And she's got provocations. She's going to be provoking people, right? So, and then she's going to be over committing to things that she should never be committing to. Okay. So when you're talking about addiction, a lot of projectors find themselves in similar situations. Obviously, you're going to see all types in addiction. There's a lot of different, there's a lot of reasons why people are in addiction. This is one of them, but I would say that most projectors suffer on some level with some type of addiction. Having that aha, like almost most of the battle, once you kind of realize that, like, oh, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. Oh, okay. For me, I was always trying to keep up. How am I going to stay awake? How am I going to stay up? How do I in college? Like, how do I study? How do I keep up? That was a big issue for me. And like, had I just known that I was a projector, like, you'll get the work done, just kind of sleep. And, I think it would have helped with so much addiction. Like, I think this is such a huge key to help people understand how to process that and deal with that.
Yeah. And the moodiness. The moodiness and provocation. I don't know what I was thinking when I came into this world with the design that I have. When I first got here, I was like, I don't want to be a projector, and I didn't want to have moodiness and the fighter. And I have like a lot of really a pokey aura, but I'm starting to embrace the parts of me, and it's really cool. So
Be the
I
individual.
yeah, yeah, and I can do readings, by the way. So if anybody's interested, I don't have a website yet or anything, and I'm switching gears. I'm gone from talking about deconditioning. I was a nurse for 26 years, and now I'm trying to bring in some of these other aspects of me that I haven't embraced. So it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge with, to try to like maybe be an entrepreneur or start a business. And I haven't fully done that yet, but I'm in progress. So yeah, I'm not in a hurry. That's what's so cool, because like you were saying, pushing, I'm kind of done with that as well. And to do life with ease and calmness and grace is what I'm practicing, because my cross is tension, the cross of tension. So, okay, I'm pretty tense. And I've had a lot of things happen to me these last couple of years. Some really heavy duty, really big things have happened, big transformations. But I'm coming out of it. And that's what it's all about, is to keep going, never stop starting, keep starting over, never give up.
Yep.
Because all those things that we think that are so bad, those are all our wounding is actually our healing. It's where we can help other people when we're wounded, and when we overcome, we overcome for ourselves, but we overcome for other people. We overcome for humanity and for the world, and so like, I want to give back. I want to exchange that, and help other people get to know that they're not crazy. You're not stupid. You're not worthless, and life is good. But I can go really dark. I can go really deep, because I've been in a lot of grief and dying and death and different things with my career and in my life. So, I'm pretty intense. So I tend to attract people who are in trauma and in grief, or widows, people who've had people die around them, because I've had in my career a lot of experience with death and dying. And that's why I was really curious about Bardo and some of these things that Ra was talking about in the rave cosmology. And so this class, rave cosmology, has been a blast, because it's really helping me with the death and dying aspect, and some of the things I already knew, and the experiences that I've had. It's helped clarify a lot of things, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
really,
it
really
is a
amazing.
big part of what Rob talks about is learning how to die correctly. Kaehko was like, it's in her chart as well. The energies of people who are transitioning. She did that for years. And these are the interesting things that we start to see in the rave cosmology. But she is like almost like a death doula, right? Like helping people in their transformation. But and as far as like the healing of the trauma and all that deep work, if you guys are feeling that and you're like, whoa, you're relating to this, I'm gonna put Keiko's, I'll just put your email in the comments below. We also did the whole 4 radical transformations, which is about, the diet, the environment, the motivation, the view, these are things that she can also integrate in a chart. So, I'll put her information in the comments if you guys feel like you want to reach out. And yeah, I mean, it is really, I think the process of integrating human design with our life for a projector, that process is really about finding the joy first and finding the abundance first within, and
Yeah.
then the doors start to change and start to open. I mean, I think so many are just so deep in the hustle and so deep in the like the frustration by absorbing that generator fuel,
Mhm.
that we don't, the doors don't even get to start to open with that joy. I mean, there's just a natural state of joy for projectors when they're living in their design. And with that individuality, sometimes it's just that mutation takes time. It takes time.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, if you haven't worked with Raquel, you gotta do it, because she's she saw for me, and I put this in a testimony of one of the things. It's like you've held my hand. You helped see the vision of me before I could see the vision of me, and you've held my hand a lot through it, even though, like, it's not like we've had a lot of one-on-one or different things, but like there's just an essence of when you saw me and you see my genius or you see my chart. It was so powerful. This has been really powerful for me. And just knowing that somebody understands me in the way you've held that, Raquel, I gotta say, it's like been really, really powerful in my life. So that's what a human design teaching can do for you, whether it's Raquel or anybody, really. If to study this and to really have someone who can really get you and understand you and hold you while you're deconditioning, or at least reflect back to you, is so important. It's really important, because we can slip back into the not self, slip back into like our old ways really easy. And it's a life thing. This is a journey and an experiment. It's not a destination. It's a journey and an experiment. And it's just living life one day at a time, and
Yeah.
loving yourself and loving others,
Yeah, finally allowing yourself to be you, and
Mhm.
realizing that there's so much magic in it, in being you. And wow, the release of just finally embracing all of the aspects.
Yeah.
And that embrace is so healing and so incredibly nourishing when we finally get to embrace ourselves and we're let go of the struggle being something we're not. Yeah, game changing.
That's so true. Being something we're not. But anyway, I thanks so much for this time that I've had to get to share with you. And we're really into this. We're into this because we know how meaningful it is. It's not so much for, like, more than that.
Yeah,
Like, it's so cool to watch people's eyes light up and their world to shift
yeah,
when they
yeah,
find this. Yeah.
yeah.
And Raw did it, Raw was the one that took the voice and turned it around. So yeah.
Respect, man. Respect.
Yeah.
Respect. He
It
went
feels
through it.
really woo-woo when you look at all the numbers and the centers and all this stuff. When I first saw it, I thought, okay, I don't know about this, and I took it with a lot of trepidation and scrutiny, and but it was definitely well worth it. And it's beyond like personality typing and Myers-Briggs, and there's so many modalities and self-help things that I've done. Like, there's almost nothing I haven't done, it seems like, trying to fix myself. And so this human design's been the most powerful, I would say, like, within all of it, because it has astrology, it has so many, things, the quantum and the astrology and the chakras, and it's just
Yeah.
really powerful. Yeah.
It was the only thing that helped me. I mean, it was definitely the only thing that helped me as far as, just the mental plane and like my existence. Um,
Yeah.
and it's funny, Rod did say that exact same thing. He said when he first introduced human design, he wanted to be really practical. He introduced it in a lot of woo circles, people who knew astrology, whatever. And he said, people were just desperate because they'd been trying so many things and nothing really worked. And I think some things might work for some people if they intuitively are able to like figure out their, like I've watched people with access consciousness who have possibility as their view. And like they're constantly like, what else is possible? And it's like, well, that's great for you because that's your view. That works for you. It's not going to work for everybody in that same way. And that's the same with law of attraction and all of these tools. There's going to be things that might work for you if it kind of happens upon your design. But for those of us who have kind of uniqueness or mutation or something in their chart where it's not going to work, then you think that like why those modalities don't work for you, and it causes a lot of heartache, when really if you learned your design, all the modalities start to work because you realize like all the little pieces, how to make it fit for you. So yeah, it's a really fascinating piece to the puzzle, and it really has been such a joy and an honor to share with you. I feel so connected to you. I always have. I just always felt just like this deep connection to you, and sometimes that makes the path really magical when you get to have those connections. And it's like, just you kind of know like, oh, we've been through, we've been through it. But is there anything else you feel like you want to share about your journey or your deconditioning, or anything else that you want to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about how my view is survival and security. And so my view is very intense, I guess, like, because survival is pretty rough. And then my motivation is desire. And it was so funny because I was doing the opposite, which is your your motivate. I was doing your motivation, which is like the Buddha, and I was observing and all this, and I kind of quit desiring completely. I didn't even have a lot of desire. So this has really helped me as well, like get back on track and the right trajectory towards where I need to be going, and how my motivation works. Because some people have said that, having desires is bad. And so I was really thinking, oh, I shouldn't desire so much, but that's right for me. So this is so important.
Yeah.
It's really important to know these
So
little
many
things.
layers.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers. I'm so happy. Thanks so much for everything. I appreciate you. Yeah.
I appreciate
You
you.
and Davidian and your videos and stuff. It's really wonderful.
So
Yeah.
Davidian's cross attention too, so he relates.
Oh,
So yeah, thank you so much for today, and sharing with everyone, and thank you guys all listening in. And once again, we'll put some notes in the comments below so you guys can check out Kaehko, and you can check out the certification if you feel drawn. We now have 3 different certification programs: our creative coaching certification, the Rave Cosmology, and the 4 Radical Transformations. So you can always reach out to me if you're curious. And we're just grateful to have this community and to introduce human design to those people who need it and who are curious about it. And for all you projectors out there, we see you. We love you.
yes, we do.
And
Oh, that's another class. You've got a projector class going right now, and it's super cool too. So yeah.
yeah, that's the first time we've done that projector class. It's really fun for all you projectors. It's
Yeah.
only 4 classes, but it's so important for projectors. Like there's nothing that helps a projector except for human design. Just there's,
Yeah.
it's intense.
Mhm.
All right. So thank you so
Thanks.
much. And thank you, everybody. Mwah.
Yay. Thank you.